The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is brought to you by the host of the program, who is solely responsible for its content.
Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm here with my co-host and husband, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie. Are you in a safe, secure location?
I am. We're still doing our shows over the phone lines.
Hopefully that ends soon.
Hopefully. And we have with us today Chris Ravenscroft, owner of Koberlein Environmental Services. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling in with us. We're happy to have you.
Happy to be with you and your listeners this morning.
Thank you. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where we talk real estate. We have been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for nearly 50 years.
During the week, you can get in contact with us. You can email us any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. And if you want to call the office, it's 570-344-6724. You can dial one of the agents. You can listen to the agent directory, and you click on to them, and it goes directly to their cell phone. So you can get in contact with any one of our agents. And when you're at jruddy.com, go to the webcam tab on our homepage, and you can look at Dunmore Corners. We have a camera up on the roof, and we get thousands of hits a month on that camera. Not much going on now, though.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobilefriendlyjruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. We also have a Meet Our Agents tab where you can go, you can see your agents, and their phone numbers, their cell phone numbers are listed, as well as their email addresses, and you can send them a message or give them a call. And as Pat said, when you call our office and you dial their extension number, it will go directly to their cell phone. Our offices are closed, but we are conducting business remotely. We're not allowed to meet with people or show houses at this point, but we are able to guide and help people electronically, and we're happy to do so. So call us anytime. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Okay, Chris Ravenscroft, owner of Koberlein Environmental Services. Where are you located? How long has your company been in business? And what do you do, please?
Well, we are located in Honesdale. That's our primary office. We have two operating sites as well. One is in Waymart, Pennsylvania, and our third location, our second operating site, is in Ferndale, New York. The company was founded by a gentleman by the name of Sam Koberlein in 1960. Sam was a chicken farmer and hauled steel and converted one of his trucks to a pumper and started by focusing on residential pumping. 60 years later, we continue to provide services to homeowners and businesses with septic tanks in northeastern Pennsylvania and nearby New York.
You service homeowners, businesses, and municipalities.
That's correct. About 50% of our business is focused on homeowners, and that homeowner could either have a septic tank or they could be connected to a sewer. We will service a homeowner with a blocked drain or a clogged pipe. But you're right, Jackie. In addition to the homeowners, we have diversified our business to include wastewater treatment facilities and cities and towns with stormwater systems, as well as industry, food processing companies, real estate management firms, apartments, and restaurants. So basically, if it's a non-hazardous wastewater service that's required, we can provide it.
Okay, good. Are you an essential business these days? Were you deemed essential? Because I can tell you real estate and housing, our governor has declared us non-essential. I always thought that food, clothing, and housing were pretty essential, and so a roof over someone's head is pretty important, but our governor has said it is not. It's non-essential. Are you an essential business? And how are you operating?
Great question. We have been deemed in the regulation as an essential business because Koberlein collects, transports, and disposes of waste. We're included in that definition as a waste management company. And really, since the first week in March, we've been very closely monitoring the guidance from the CDC and from the state government with regards to social distancing. We are focused on keeping our customers and our employees safe. We employ approximately 50 people. We have spread our offices out. I'm actually talking to you from a maintenance building where I now office for the time being. We have procedures which detail how frequently we're wiping down surfaces in our office, in our trucks, and how often we're using hand sanitizers as a group. We have basically become a paperless business for the moment. We are trying to get payment by credit card. We are not handing papers over to customers. We will, in the future, scan and send by email invoices if requested. And we have furloughed between 1/3 and 1/2 of our employees, which actually worked out really well. I can't say enough about the spirit of the people here at Koberlein and their willingness to work with us to provide some continuity should we be afflicted by the virus. Thankfully, all of our people and all of their families have been healthy, and we've been able to get through it. But we've taken some significant steps to try to protect our customers and our people.
Wonderful. So, we're going to talk about septic systems. That's why you're here today. Let's start with when a home has a septic system, it's typically the most expensive utility on the premises. And this is, of course, from your website, even more costly to replace than a home's HVAC system, wouldn't you say?
That's been our experience. If you look at the installation or replacement cost of a septic tank and then the absorption field, whether it's a gravity system or a sand-bound system, those costs can range between $15,000 to $17,000 to $20,000, depending on the particulars of the property. So it is what we consider to be typically one of the most, if not the most expensive utility in a home.
But many homeowners are unaware of their system's condition until it begins to show signs of failure. And I can attest to that because I'm in real estate and we sell homes that have septic systems. And sometimes it's amazing that people really don't even know when it was last pumped.
You're right. We think we have two types of customers, and we love them both, and we're happy to work for both. But the first type is the proactive type that goes online, learns about a septic system, how to maintain it, and is willing to make the investment so that it extends the useful life and, frankly, reduces the operating costs over the life of the system. And then we have those reactive customers who ignore a slow-running drain or wet spots on their absorption field. And as long as the wastewater goes down the toilet or down the drain, it's forgotten until there is a problem. Like I said, we're happy to service both customers. We do provide service 24/7. So on that Friday before the 4th of July weekend, we'll be there. But it really makes good sense, financial sense especially, to properly maintain your system.
Where I grew up, down in Breezy Point, New York, we had cesspools. It's a beach community. We were connected to city water, but we all had cesspools. And my dad was the first type, the proactive type. He would be banging on the door because I'm taking a shower too long. He would tell me, don't wash the dishes, you're using too much water. So my dad was very proactive, and you know what? We never really had a problem with the system.
It really makes a difference, and part of what we try to do in a way that's accessible to our customers, we try to help them understand how to maintain the system, especially if they're a first-time home buyer or maybe they've relocated to the area and they've never had a septic tank. A little bit of common sense and some proactive management can make a big difference, Pat. Simple things like not putting anything down the toilet other than toilet tissue, not putting anything down the sink other than sink water. And specifically, don't flush dental floss. Don't flush Q-tips. Feminine products can be a problem. Wipes are called flushable wipes, but really they wreak havoc in a septic system and in a sewer system. So we try to spend some time, if the customer's interested and there's a need, to try to give them a little bit of information so that they can be that proactive customer and take care of their system.
So septic systems operate at their best when they're serviced regularly. How often should they service a septic?
Well, that's a great question. And the answer, there's a general answer and then there's kind of a more specific answer. The general answer is it depends. The Pennsylvania Septic Management Association, which is the industry organization that sets guidelines for Pennsylvania septic users, recommends pumping a tank every 3 to 5 years. It really depends, though, on the particular homeowner's usage. If you're a retired couple and there's just two of you, you could probably head more towards that 5-year pumping schedule. If, on the other hand, you're a young family, do a lot of laundry, use lots of water, you probably should be closer to the every 2-year mark. And that's the type of information, once we service a tank for the first time, we would discuss with a new customer. And if they'd like, we'd kind of suggest a recommended pumping program. And then once we do offer a reminder card service. So they'll be in our system, and based on the agreed-upon schedule, 2 or 3 or 4 years, we will generate a reminder card to let our customers know it's time to pump their tank again in order to try to support that regular maintenance that you mentioned, Jackie.
So what does service entail? It obviously includes pumping it out, but what else do you do?
When we first arrive at a home, after we introduce ourselves and let the homeowner know we're there, we will locate the tank, and sometimes if it's a customer that we've serviced before, we will actually have a plan on file. The driver will have it with his paperwork, and that'll be a pretty quick process. There are times with new customers where you actually have to locate the lid if it's buried below the dirt. And we do that a couple different ways. We can wring it out with a metal detector. We have a flushable locator if it's really deep. So we start by locating the tank, digging off the lid. We want to make sure we pump the tank in its entirety. That includes all the water that's in the middle, the mat that's on the top, and the sludge that accumulates on the bottom of the tank. We clean out the entire tank. While we're pumping the tank, we do a quick visual inspection, and we would look at a number of different components in the system just to make sure that things appear to be as they need to be. For example, that there's an inlet and outlet baffle, that there's no cracking or obvious deterioration in the tank or the lid itself, that there's no obvious signs of groundwater entering the system, and that the absorption field appears to be functioning properly. And those are the types of quick visual reviews we complete when we pump a tank in order to possibly identify issues that might require some additional service. And our goal is to identify that potential issue, let the customer know, and then they make the decision whether they want to take the time and invest the money now or if they want to wait. But generally, we recommend being proactive and taking care of an issue before it's a larger issue.
Jackie, how many times have you been to a home and there's a septic system and you're talking to the homeowner and you've asked the owner, well, where is the septic system? And what do they say?
A lot of times they don't know.
They have no idea. They have no idea.
We just had one where a house was inherited by a non-family member, so they didn't grow up at this property. They knew about it. They visited the person frequently, but in terms of a septic system where it was located in the yard, they had no clue. Someone had to go out 2 or 3 times, inspectors, to try to find this. I mean, sometimes you have, you're looking for a lid, you're looking for a cap, but it's overgrown. So it's not sometimes something that you can identify easily.
It can be a challenge, and it's not uncommon to have customers who, as you say, don't know where the system is located. We have a fairly extensive database. Many of the homes in northeastern Pennsylvania, and we service 8 counties in northeastern Pennsylvania, but many of the homes have plans on file here. So there's a pretty good chance for a new homeowner that we may have pumped that system in the past, and based on the address, we can pull up a plan if we have one on file. If
or they
that's
can
not
check
the case,
municipality for that plan. Is that something they can do?
Well, oftentimes there will be a plan on file, but just as often we'll find that there's never been a plan that's been filed with the municipality. So that may be a 50-50 proposition.
Okay.
There are times when the installation permit might not get filed or can't be located, but the system is something that we've been able to find over time. It's a little bit more of an art than a science. Frankly, you could look at the internal plumbing in the home to get some indication. You can look at the topography. Occasionally, an absorption field will be obvious just by the outline in the soil and in the grass. But sometimes it can be a real challenge, and we've had those situations too where we've had to spend some time to locate a system. But we do that on a regular basis, and like I said, we can either wring out the lid with a metal detector, or we have a fleshable nugget, we call it. It's a fleshable transmitter that we can pick up with an electronic wand, and that'll locate the tank for us. So we have a couple different approaches to locating a tank.
You got a couple of tricks there.
High tech indeed.
We have with us today Chris Ravenscroft, owner of Koberlein Environmental Services. How can someone get in touch with you, please?
A couple ways. The old-fashioned way, which we always welcome a conversation, is a phone call. The main number in Honesdale is 570, and it's 253-3660. You can also reach us online. There's a webpage at Koberlein.com, and our email address, if you'd like to reach us via email, is Koberlein@Koberlein.com, and Koberlein is spelled Koberlein. So Koberlein@Koberlein.com.
Wonderful. Pat, would you like to review a listing, please?
Yes, we have a deal here. We have a half-acre lot. It's on Mountainside Drive in Big Bass Lake, and it's only $3,800. That's right, $3,800. It's a great opportunity if you want to build your own dream home inside. It's a gated community. There's lakes, pool. It's got a clubhouse, ski slopes. This is a wooded lot. It's got 135 feet of road frontage, and it's right next to the ski slope. And it already has the sewer hookup ready to go. That's a half acre of land on Mountainside Drive in Gouldsboro inside Big Bass Lake for only $3,800, and that's listed by Connie Seagraves of our office.
Thank you, Pat. And I have some information. I just received this in an email yesterday. Buyers, and you're going to find this really interesting, Pat, buyers are showing more interest in small town properties. Go figure.
Yeah, everybody wants to get out of the big city.
Small towns and rural areas may be set to boom in the wake of the coronavirus outbreak. And that's good news for our area, in a sense. We'll have to see. Time will tell. This isn't a new strategy. As many evacuated to rural areas during the, Pat, guess when? What epidemic? 1918 Spanish flu. I don't know if we can say Spanish flu, but that's what this says. Online interest in small town properties surged after our national pandemic was declared on March 11th. As of March 23rd, the 7-day average year-over-year change in page views of homes in rural areas went up 115%, and in small towns it was up 88%. At the same time, interest in city properties decreased. Page views for homes in urban metro areas with populations of 1 million or more decreased 10% over the same period. While the spike in interest hasn't yet translated into a major increase in property sales, the decline in pending sales has been less dramatic in rural areas. It's down 20%. Small towns are down 11%. and large urban areas are down 26% pending sales. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate, on 94.3 The Talker. We'll be right back.
The talented team of professionals at Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. They're not just real estate agents, they're agents of change. They're on a never-ending quest for the best for you and your family. They can help you find precisely what you want at this time in your life. A computer, a website, an app, and a listing by itself can't do that. They're obsessed with better and deliver extraordinary, embracing the what if, not just the what's been done before, with a level of accountability and honesty not found anywhere else in the real estate industry. Don't settle for average, okay, or just all right. This change in your life is monumental, and there's only one Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate that will help you rock that change. Call 570-344-6724 and visit jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. Each Century 21 office is independently owned and operated.
We're back with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
And we're back with a very interesting discussion.
Yes, we have Chris Ravenscroft, owner of Koberlein Environmental Services. We're having a great discussion about septic systems, Chris. I want to talk to you about the name of your company. First half of the show, you talked about the original owner, Koberlein. Let's talk about the name. How do you spell it?
Sure. Koberlein is spelled Koberlein, founded by Sam Koberlein in 1960. And I'm glad to hear that you think we're having such an interesting conversation on septic. Naturally, I find it very engaging, but I hope you do, and I hope your listeners do as well.
I do too, but you don't only service septic systems. A lot of real estate that we sell is down here in the Lackawanna County area. We do go to parts of Luzerne and Wayne and Pike, but predominantly we're down here in Lackawanna County, and so a lot of the homes that we sell are on a public system. Are there services that Koberlein Environmental Services provides a homeowner on a public sewer system?
We do. As a matter of fact, today in Abington, we are locating a broken line for a pressure system. So this home is located in an area where a gravity flow sewer system is not possible. They have a waste tank at their house with a grinder pump, and that grinder pump ejects the waste into a pressured line, which pumps it up to the street, which is also a pressured line, and then it pumps it to eventually a gravity line that goes to the wastewater treatment plant in Lackawanna County. There is a break in the line, and we are hydro-Xing the break, which includes using high-pressure air and liquid to cut the soil. And once we locate the break, we will put in a repair, and we'll prevent the leakage of any additional wastewater as a result. So that's one type of service for a pressure system, which is a fairly common type of system in Lackawanna and Luzerne County. We also work on gravity systems in those counties if there's a block in a line. And if there's a block in a line in the street, we will typically work for the municipality. That's the municipality's responsibility. It's typically a bigger line, and we send a larger truck with a large jetting capacity. A jetter is a high-pressure nozzle driven by water, and it scours the inside of the pipe. If there's a blockage on the homeowner's property, typically that expense is the responsibility of the homeowner. Usually a smaller diameter pipe. We have smaller jetters and routers for that application as well. So even if you're on a sewer system, be it a pressure system or a gravity system, we provide line cleaning services. And then lastly, on the line cleaning services, if you are regularly blocking, your waste pipe is regularly blocking from your home, we have the ability to provide video inspection services. And in the course of evaluating a system, we will send down a video head that allows us to see the inside diameter of the pipe, and we can frequently find offsets where pipes have shifted. We can find breaks in pipes, or we will find roots in pipes. And all of those conditions will catch the paper and the other waste as it exits the pipe and eventually block it. So if there is a repeated clog, we will go out, clean the pipe, and then video inspect it. And once we locate a feature like that, whether it's roots or an offset or a break, we can repair it as well. So in addition to the typical residential septic customer, we also provide services to residences that are connected to sewer systems.
Okay, so I want to jump back to septic systems for a second because something you just said triggered this question. A lot of times, not only do homeowners not know the last time their septic system was pumped out, they don't know what type of septic system they have. In other words, they don't know what the holding tank is. And our seller's disclosures specifically ask what type of tank. Is it steel? Is it concrete, et cetera? So do you have something that can help that homeowner determine what type of system they have?
We do. We offer a certification, which is it's a set of criteria that we evaluate based on the Pennsylvania Septic Management Association guidelines that prescribes we locate the tank, we describe what kind of tank it is. It can be a concrete tank, or it may be a plastic tank. It may be a gravity system, which means that the gray water flows by gravity from the septic tank to an absorption field, or it may be a sand-bound system, which means that the gray water is actually pumped from the septic tank to a turkey mound or a sand mound. And all of that's detailed in a certification report. It's very typical that we would do that type of reporting in connection with a real estate transaction because, as you mentioned, Jackie, there are times when, as part of the disclosure, the sellers need to have more information than they might already in terms of their on-site system.
It's tricky business. And sometimes we're finding out at the inspection that the holding tank or the system installed isn't adequate for the size of the house.
It can be a tricky business. The guidelines and the local ordinances are fairly clear, but what we have found over the years is that as new ordinances and guidelines have been implemented, there are older systems that might not conform, and those issues do become apparent doing the due diligence process connected with a real estate transaction. So we have found a need, and we've tried to meet the need by getting several of our technicians certified through the PSMA so we can provide those certifications so that the parties to the transaction know exactly what type of system they have and if there are any compliance issues that will need to be addressed.
With us today, Chris Ravenscroft, owner of Koberlein Environmental Services. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
They can reach us in Honesdale at 253-3660. They can reach us online at Koberlein at Koberlein.com, and we have a web page filled with information at Koberlein.com. And I have to say, Jackie, I think 4 times in a row now, you really nailed Koberlein. I really appreciate that.
All right. Okay, good. Will you come back next week because there's so much more we need to talk about? Please.
I could talk about septic and septic systems forever, Jackie.
Nice.
I'd be happy to come back and visit with you and Pat some more.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
All right.
Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes, we have a 2-bedroom home at 935 East Lackawanna Avenue in Oliphant for only $81,000. Maybe those out-of-state people are going to want to buy this, right, that we were talking about. This home has got a lot of updates, including newer porches, updated flooring. It's got a big fenced-in yard. This would be a perfect starter home. It could also be used as a 3-bedroom, and the taxes are less than $1,000 a year. That's the gift that keeps on giving. It's a 2-bedroom home at 935 East Lackawanna Avenue in Oliphant for only $81,000. And that's listed by Stacy Granza of our office.
Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker.